Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to this webinar on manifesting. I'm Dwaine Hartman, and thanks for coming out. There are different ideas and concepts around about manifesting and what manifesting is. And I can only go by my own approach, my simple approach to working with manifestation. And for those of you that haven't seen the video yet, the video I did on manifesting, I'm going to show you that video now.
Okay, Dwayne. So somebody had a question. Talks about abundance. And they asked how to create abundance in life.
Well, how to create abundance in your life has got to do with how you feel about your life. And so I look at it from the feeling point of view. I've seen a lot of people manifesting and playing up your visual and auditory aspects of the mind. And whenever you do that, you create a diversion, not an aversion, but you create a polarity. But when we come into our heart and we're manifesting because we want to feel, it's about experience. It's about having an experience. So you want to go from one experience, which is poverty, to another experience, which is abundant. What would that feel like to move into that? By going through that feeling, you're actually sharing with the greater part of you the transition you want to make. You see. And when you do that, you're giving it the roadmap as to where you want to go. So there's one thing about this greater part of our mind: it won't do anything unless you show it what you want it to do. And so when you go emotionally from poverty and just believe in magic for a moment and allow yourself to transition to having the feeling of abundance, and that's what you want, and then hold that feeling and bring it back into your present moment and just sit there with that abundant feeling, then you create abundance in your life. It starts showing up, and it's not going to come. And people, when they're up here in the top part of the mind, they're so specific, and it has to be like this, and it has to be like that. You're only limiting in the many ways that the universe can move that abundance into your life. So you don't care how it comes in. You just know it'll come.
Thank you.
In this video, I'm discussing a process of manifestation that is very, very simplistic and very magical. The one thing, the main questions that was received is that, okay, I'm going to ask, I got people saying there's no sound. Is there no sound, or can you hear me? Please put it in the chat screen. Can you hear me? I guess they can't hear me if they can't hear me. I hear you clear. Okay, so I'm talking about a level of manifestation that is very, very magical and very childlike. When you think about things, when you want to experience something, because the biggest question we got is, I have lots of experience, but I need to manifest money. Well, money and experience are the same thing. You want to manifest an experience of receiving money. Now, if you walk outside and you want to have an experience of finding a four-leaf clover, and you find it, you're excited, it's childlike. What has happened is that they've put so much angst around money that it's hard for us to play with it in a childlike nature, but we have to do that. Once we get into that aspect of playing in a childlike nature with receiving money, it starts to happen. You start playing with magical experiences of receiving money. Now, most people have so much angst around money that they're not going into that playful aspect. And once you start to go into that playful aspect, then you start seeing something different. Now, I know we've had lots of experience with frustration around receiving money. But that is the very thing that gets us trapped into not experiencing an experience of abundance. And what I was sharing with people in that video was that we need to step into that playfulness. If we're not in that playfulness, then we're in that angst that has been created that we hopefully step into, that we never really get what we want. But if we play in that playfulness of it, then you start to receive it. So what you want to do is develop inside of yourself an idea. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if I could joyfully, like a child, experience money coming in? You know, when you were a kid and you were looking for something to play with or whatever as a child, you'd come up with the damnedest stuff to play with. You would discover it. It was like a treasure that you would find. And you'd find this thing, and next thing you know, it was like everything was like magic, and it would turn into something. We need to get into that state within us when we're doing this with money, because it has become so much of an angst that people can't go into that playful state unless they recognize this is what's going on, and then they can change it. Questions about that we received was, should I be manifesting the car and imagining driving in the car and imagining all of these things? Again, this is taking you into a different place. What if you just played with the experience of what it would feel like to magically start to receive, right? And it would happen from here or there. Why I shifted from the car that I want to drive and the house that I want to live in and all of these things is that, again, this has been built up into a fervor where we feel if it's not coming, there's something wrong with us, or we start to develop an angst around manifestation, when it's very natural. If you watch children, they're doing it all the time. In fact, you're doing it all the time. It's just in the opposite direction than you want it. Once you start focusing on the sheer delight of experiences, because it is, the more that you become aware of manifesting, the more you become aware that it is about a relationship that you have with source energy, an aligned relationship. And so a lot of times we have to get in alignment with that relationship. Things are manifesting all the time. All the things you don't want are manifesting all the time, because inside you're worrying about those things happening and they manifest. And we don't want to get into a state of fearing our own mind either. We want to be in a state where we just playfully desire experiences, right? Because source energy is about experiences. It's about knowing itself, and it wants to know itself through you and your source energy experiencing it. So it creates the experience so that you can go through it, so that you can have that feeling, which is an experience, and send it back to source so it knows what it is. Now, this works on money, this works on love, this works on health, this works on, you're manifesting everything. So to get more playful, more childlike, and just enjoy yourself will certainly increase the flow of joy in your life. And joy could be more finances. Joy could be, whatever it is that really tickles you, right? So this is what I've wanted to extend with what we were doing with that one video, because we got a lot of questions about manifesting and what way should we manifest. How come, I'm having lots of experiences, but I'm not having money. Remember, the powers that were, as V likes to say, the powers that were created a situation, in a sense, that we felt very adult and very angst about money. It meant that we value ourselves by how much money we have, and if we have less, that means we're not that much of a person. But like we were discussing, we put value on everything. The car has no value unless you sit in it and you give it value. Nothing has value. And the thing of it is that you ought to have value, because you're the one putting value on things. You're the value that gets onto money. You're putting value on money. And there comes a time when you need to divorce money, where you need to see what it has done in your life as far as all the angst and I can't pay bills. And you know what I mean? It's emotionally taking over. And there's a time where you need to divorce it. When you need to say, you know what? I'm not giving you any more power to do that in me again. Go get stuffed. And you say this to money. You know what? You're a piece of paper. And I can be any feeling I want to be. I can be joy. I can be delight. I can be any feeling. And just because you're here or not here isn't going to change me a damn bit. I'm going to stay in my center. And as soon as you disempower money that way, money has a tendency to run up to you because it wants your attention, basically. So what happens is that you take your power back and you sit in center. All of everything that you need to and ought to learn is only to come back to center, come back to home inside of you. Now, money is teaching us a lesson about being home in us. Either we're outside of ourselves, and it's not here, and I need more of it, and I gotta, there's all that angst when it should be playful, like a child finding a 4-leaf clover, that it shows up. And the more 4-leaf clovers show up, the more they happen when we take it from a childlike point of view. When we have so much energy put on money that money can make us this or that, or, some people even want to end their life because of it. That's too much power for a piece of paper. Way too much. It's a vehicle that takes energy that you have made, that you do, that you create, and it's transferred to paper just so that you can take that to a store and buy something, but really you're the one giving it value. You're the one. Always. I'm going to open up to questions now, but I would like us to stay on the manifestation track if we could, about manifesting and your questions about manifesting. So we'll go to the chat screen. and let me know any of your questions or things that you want to share. Because this is a subject that we need to be able to rise above and have our own value of ourself that surpasses money. And whether you have money or not have money, that it surpasses that and you actually start to feel excited about life again. There's so many people out there not excited about their life because they're thinking way too much about the money they have or don't have, right? Because it could go the other way too when you have too much money, or not. There's probably never too much money, but when you have a lot of money, you can also feel, where you have to protect it, and you have to defend it, and you have to. So your thoughts are always on it too, and you're not playing and having fun. So, I don't see any questions yet. Are we questionless tonight? Any questions about manifesting? Okay, so Inner Child is writing here. Is it possible that the more money I try, there's that word, try, okay, to manifest, the more resistance I am to the current feeling of not enough. And so whatever I resist persists. So I keep attracting poverty. I think the question answered itself. Really. What if you were to go into a state of just joy as a child? And so it wasn't money you were attracting, it was butterflies. Right? And I know that sounds silly, but it's supposed to be. And you were attracting butterflies, and the more that you were catching butterflies, the more butterflies show up. I mean, we all had those experiences, and it should be that light, right? But we make it part of our identity and what our value is, when we should value ourselves as a child does. It's just a magical day. And we're creating. So, first of all, Inner Child, I'm going to share with you, used the word try. Try is always, in all the linguistics I have taken, try is a word of failure. So, the more money I try to manifest, okay, so there's a failing going on there, I don't have to tell you, but change it to playing, change it to having joy with it and magic, right? And it's going to shift for you. It shifts for everybody when we do that. Wendy asks, what are the best practices or exercises to do for manifesting? Play, have fun, get excited, start saying words to yourself. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if Santa Claus showed up with, a couple more dollars, right? I wonder if I could find like a treasure. I could find some money on the street, and you just get excited like a kid to find that. Then you can also work more with what would it feel like to receive that money out of just magic, something showing up. You don't know what it is. Somebody could leave you somebody could come by and say, I'd like to give you this because you were such a good person. all of this stuff, I mean, you don't know where it's going to come. It's magic how it comes. But you sit in a state where you see yourself joyfully like a child receiving the money, right? And what would that feel like? See, it's a motion that we need to go to. It's a motion when it comes to manifesting that is the polarized energy that goes and creates. So if we put specifics, we sit there and we go, okay, it's got to be like this, and it's got to come in here, and that's all left brain stuff that has polarity in it, which means it's going to manifest it and take it away in the next moment. Okay? So it's going to come and go. But when we move to our feeling, we move to a place inside of us that we know. We know that we are the universe. We know that we are source energy. We know that we're having a relationship with source, and this bypasses 3D. And something else can magically happen when you bypass 3D. So I should get to the questions here. So Snowflake's cat has said how to stop focusing so much and waiting on the manifestation. Again, it comes back to this playful aspect. So the seriousness is waiting. I'm waiting. The seriousness, there's an angst there. You can feel it. It's like, where's this money, right? In a sense. But when we're sitting here in a playful way, right? You just have the playful experience, even if you see yourself in the near future, playfully receiving it in a state of joy, and then bring that feeling back to your present moment and live that. It's going to change everything. You're going to step out of an energetic hold that the powers that were have on you. Okay? And remember, this mostly hits, and a lot of times hits, the people that are more spiritual, right? Because they do another thing to people that are more spiritual. They make money dirty, so that, you think that if you do your practice, if you do your healing work, if you do this sort of thing, that you're going to get, you have this guilt about money, right? And now the powers that were know that, and that's how they keep you guys, light workers, down, so there's not so many on the planet. It worked for a long time, and I was probably one of a few people that were going out and saying, look, this program is going on, and we have to let go of the guilt that we have about receiving money as a light worker, as a healer, as this sort of thing. We got to let that go, because the only thing that it's stopping us from doing is doing our practice, doing what we came here to do. A lot of us came here from somewhere else to come here to help humanity. And that guilt about charging money stops us from doing it. And that's exactly how it was designed to work, that guilt. So that you didn't get playful about it. So get playful. Mia said that what I have started is when I get money, I act as if it's a long lost friend that shows up. I kind of do the same thing. It's kind of like woohoo, it's like, hi, come on in. Because I do a lot of work with that, and I do a lot of work for it, but I do a lot of work with it as well, and I'm supporting. I'm supporting other things that I can do to help humanity. And it's very exciting for me. So when it shows up, it's like, woohoo, more freedom, right? I also do things where, I finally am doing some things where I get to go and enjoy a little bit, like, go out and enjoy. I bought a used camper, and so I can go out to the farm, and it's a little bigger one than I had before, but I can go out there, and V and I have a great time out there, planting gardens and doing our stuff and enjoying the sun, and it's stuff that I haven't done for a long time, and so I can enjoy that. I can also enjoy the things that I love to do, right? And that's okay, because I love to do my work too, it's just love everywhere. Inner child says that this is kind of zeroed in on for her or for him, that this is what's been going on, is that there hasn't been excitement about money. It's been an angst. Exactly. That's what happens. And what it does is, it creates a limit on light workers experiencing, light workers, if you want to call yourself that, or people are doing healing modalities. It puts that extra pressure. It puts extra pressure on everybody. The thing of it is that if that was so true, then why did the powers, if money was bad and all that, then why do the powers that were have so damn much, and everyone so little? They don't seem to, but they sure can convince a lot of us to have a guilt over it, so that we give it over, or we give it up, or we turn back into, that's got to hit us somewhere, sometime in the rebellious part of us that says, hey, wait a minute. I mean, I work with a lot of people, and there's a lot of people coming in from other worlds here, and they have a lot of talents to share. Now, if they can't charge for that because we're living on a monetary planet, then guess what? They end up working somewhere, and like they say, enslaved to a job where they can't ever express and come out. And that's a shame, really. I'm reading some more questions here. Wendy Harris. So many people say you have to be so specific. And I can go right off from that. Yes. And again, when we're so specific, we're in the left brain. And the left brain has duality in it. The right brain is non-dualistic. Okay? And so this is what I'm talking about. When we drop into the heart and we manifest from there, we're also utilizing our right brain to do the manifesting. Now, I do the God consciousness awakening work. Well, guess what? Guess where the God within lives? The right brain. Have you ever heard of the Lucifer effect? It's the entrainment process to get the humanity to go over to the left brain, so that you don't utilize your right brain. Why? Because you would think yourself out of problems and you'd have solutions all the time. So in order to create something that humanity is limited, they had to get humanity to cross over to the left brain thinking, which has duality in it, okay? Instead of over to the right. Einstein even said, if you want a genius, You start in the right, and you work the other way, and you make the left brain the slave. And so what that means is you create in the right and let the left brain put structure to it. But that's it. It can't be dominant. Well, we have a society that can't go over to the right brain to come up with an intuitive solution anymore. So we want to play in that area. We want to start playing back in the right brain again, right? And opening it up. That's where you stuffed everything from all of your powers and your abilities and all of that ever since you were a child. You stuffed it all over there in the right brain and went left, right? And left it behind. And what we're doing is bringing it back, right? What we're doing in these processes is bringing it back. We've got to come back to this, to the God that's within you, the goddess that's within you, and have a loving relationship with that. Right? Because the outside world, if you've never noticed, never accepts you, no matter what you do. And that's its game, is that if they always keep acceptance on the end of a stick out in front of you like a carrot, you'll constantly keep running, right? But if you accept yourself and you come back into who you truly are, and that playful, childlike nature, there's a lot of magic in there. So what I'm saying with that is that analyzing and specific aspects, these are all more left brain functions, right? It's like, the more polished I make this rock, maybe it'll turn into a diamond. No, it won't, but it needs pressure. But if you do something, like the more specific I get, the more you have to stop, drop, and feel it. You have to feel, not only do you need to feel your own magic within you, your own connection to source energy, and that this is a magical universe. You need to own that, right? While you're in the specifics, you think it's the specifics that's going to get you there. For years, I used to think it was the words in my practice, the hypnotherapy, that was the magic. It was the words. But it wasn't the words. It was never the words. It was a feeling. It's a feeling that I drop into. And when I drop into that feeling in me, it reminds you of things. So we're learning more and more all the time to drop into the feelings, into the heart, get over into the right brain, and create like we're supposed to. So Maya, you're asking, how do we, if we feel excited about letting it, of receiving money, how are we supposed to let it go? The same way, excited. Because as you let it go, more's coming in. Oh my God. Because you can't let it go unless more comes in to replace it. We start setting up, if we have these belief systems inside of us that we can switch and play with, why not make good ones? And the good ones are, the more that I send out, 4 times as much comes in to replace it. Stuff like that. We could start having belief systems that actually help us, right? Rather than, oh my gosh, if I give this away, where's the next one going to come from? If you take a look at what's happening there in the mind, you're creating the scarcity just in that moment. Boom. And it says, okay, you get to be right. And then the scarcity shows up. So you want to be able to receive it in joy with a tickle inside, and you want to be able to let it go the same way. Think about the families you're feeding. Think about who you're supporting. Think about what wonderful things you're doing by giving this money out to people. And now you have a new relationship in and out with money. There you go, Jeff. A wild weekend in Las Vegas. Yes. If you start to think about it before you go and get excited, right? Who knows what you could create? Exactly, Omar. Yes. Uh, Philomen. Yes, the heart space creates hugely, and when you move into, like, a lot of us have a lot of ideas, and we've read about and experienced, but when you actually drop from the top part of your brain and you drop into your heart and you feel it, and you feel the resonance of that heart, and start playing with it, that's when things start happening, because in that you're really centering yourself into a grounded place with magic. And it's not up here, but it's in here. You want to think about how it feels when you think about wisdom. Wisdom is different than knowledge. Wisdom is something you know because you've experienced it. And sometimes you brought that experience with you from other worlds, and that's fine. But there's a difference between unactualized knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom drops right in. And you want to start saying to yourself, and an easy way to start accessing your wisdom is saying, what does this remind me of? Because when you go, what does this remind me of, a new thing that you're learning, you'll start making associations to things that you've already experienced, and then it'll lock it in much easier. So what does this remind me of is a trick to accessing your own experience files, this life and the last, and the top one before, all the way back through time. Speaking can help, Omar. Yes, there's things that I say to myself, in a very, focused way. The biggest thing is to bring that focus in to the fact that you're breathing in source energy, exhaling source energy, and source energy is coming back to you. And so as you're breathing that source energy in and you have a desire, make sure that it's aligned to what you want, and you're breathing it out, and then it comes back to you as experience every time. That's how your life works. And as you move through experiences, then it becomes a new past association in your past. So this breathing exercise, whenever you're feeling that you're out here too much, mismanifesting, stop, breathe, exhale light back, and you just focus on that and let everything go. Calm down. You're safe. You're fine. You're not even of this friggin' world. You're beyond this world. And you know more than what any education system gave you credit for. And that you can drop into this place inside of you where you calm everything down and you reconnect with your source energy. When you do that, then everything gets very, very clear, very quick. Yes, Maya, if you let it go in a fashion where you're seeing it return I can give this because it's coming back, you know. I mean, I went through different phases in my life. When I was a teenager, I let it all go, and I knew that it was just going to be there. And you know what it was? I mean, I had some things, you know, where it got very, very tight for a while, but it always came back. I always got another job, or always did something else, or it was always, I never worried about it. You know, other people looking at me said, you know, you spend it like it's going out of style. And I did. I did back then. But then I had no worry about it not showing up. And it always did. We worry too much about it not showing up. We worry too much about giving it away. Which says that we don't believe that we really connect with Source and that it will always be provided for. We really have to take a look at and meditate on trust. And who are you trusting? First of all, you trust Source. You say, well, I have to meditate on trusting Source. That Source will give this to me. But, you know, Source isn't a Santa Claus. The thing with it is, it's only going to give to you what you think it will give to you. And so then eventually we have to go back into ourselves and say, do we trust ourselves? Do we have conflicting thoughts? One of yes, and then the other one, oop, you know? And we'll find that the more that we work on letting go in that area of trusting self because you are Source, that it's only what you believe your life to be that's manifesting it. In that video, I said that you have to come to the point of what do you think your life is? To you, it's what's manifesting your life. So if you believe I am in poverty, you are. You get to be right every time. But what do you want to be right about? So you always get to be right, no matter what you're thinking. It's evidence will show up from the ethers to support what you're believing, always. So it's not about validation. There's the validation, and now I can be this way. Validation will show up anyway. So you set a new marker of expanded, even more expanded in my belief in who I am. And guess what? Evidence shows up to support that. So evidence is just evidence. Lars, I'd take a risk. I'd go buy something you really want. I would, you know, even if it's shaving cream. I did that one time. I went down that path too, where it was like, oh, I can't, you know, I can't have the shaving cream I want anymore. I have to get a different one, and I have to get different razors because, you know, this is all, you know, like this, and that only harmed me. I was at one time going to thrift shops and getting used clothes. All of these things, and then I had to say to myself, what is that really validating within me? And then I had to, even though okay, I'm going to get the best for me that I like. I might not use as sloppily as I used to, but I'm going to have it, damn it. Or I'm going to have the best razors, but you know what? I'm going to wash them out after and do a nice job of that so I can use them more. So when we, I mean, I'm just giving you options. When you get the things that you really want, you can take good care of them, but get the things that you really want, you know, instead of doing that. Because if you think about it, that is confirmation now of what you believe things to be. We need to step into the magical feeling inside of what it's like to be connected to such a delightful thing as source energy, which is creating everything we're seeing. So it could create an experience of abundance for you. It can create an experience of a magical thing happening and somebody, phoning you up and say, hey, you're the guy, aren't you, that I heard about or whatever? I'd like this, These sorts of things happen to me in my life and then don't happen to me depending on where my mindset is, right? If I start focusing on how magical it is and to meet more people on Facebook, the next thing you know, I'm meeting people. I've met some stars. I've met models. I've met all kinds of people. And I've also experienced what it's like to meet somebody really, really connected to me. And that is from that place of magic inside that we do that. We manifest everything. We also manifest that joy that of finding something or discovering something or it's all coming from us. And so the more that we explore and expand in that, the richer your life becomes. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for all of you, is to step in and experience that magic that's already you. To let go and step into the child and allow yourself to dream again. Because when you do that, you open up to the magic that is life. Things start happening that you didn't expect to happen. I want you to come out of the external world where they're telling you everything is wrong and everything's going to hell in a handbasket, and you know what? You're not going to be able to do a damn thing about it anyway. But what you can do something about is go inside. And when you go inside, you change everything. When you go inside and you say to yourself, you're safe, you're fine, and I love you. Right? You start being kind to yourself. You say, you know what? Damn it, I'm going to get that shaving cream I want. Watch. I'll bet you money shows up. And it does. All of a sudden, things turn around. My friends, I was in a little tiny holiday trailer in the middle of the bush in northern Alberta. My car was broke down. No cell phone, nothing. I was actually bathing in the lake. I had to use the car battery from one car, because my car was broken down, and charge it up with that car that didn't have registration on it, and charge it up in the evening, take it out, put it in the back seat of my other car in case this battery died because I had no alternator, and drive to work. And I went to work every day until I could afford to get an alternator in this car. But I used that battery to boost this car if it needed to, because it was a long drive. I had no power, nothing. And at one point I went inside and I said to myself, I know there's magic. I know there's magic. I know I can get myself out of this. And so I went inside and I just believed. I felt this poop of magic, this poop of joy happen, even though I was in the midst of chaos. I went inside and I felt that joy, and every one of you can do that. And all of a sudden, from that pop, all of a sudden things started to unfold. And it unfolded very fast. The next thing you know, I was out of that situation and I was in another better, much better situation, and my life hasn't went back since. It's just went outwards. So I'm saying that if that can happen to me, it can happen to you. And that magic happened inside of me. It took that pressure to finally get me to go inside and say, okay, I'm in real trouble here. What can I do? And then, poof, I realized it was only my beliefs that kept me there. And once that popped, all of a sudden solutions started showing up. We need to step into that, especially at these times, because there's lots of external pressure coming in on us. And we need to pop into that part of us that goes beyond problems and starts creating solutions. I started to believe that I had to stop talking to some of my friends because they were lowering my energy. After that, they seemed to disappear. I haven't seen them in a month now. I understand that totally. I had some friends at one time that disappeared like that too. I don't know where they go. I think they go to that same place that the socks go when you can't find them in the dryer. I don't know where they go, but they're not there anymore. And I had that experience as well with some friends that were, that when I was in my 20s, I liked to drink a little, and or a lot. And I had friends there that liked to drink a lot too. And when I stopped drinking, it didn't take long, and I didn't know where they were anymore, because they didn't want to hang around me if I wasn't drinking, right? So I understand that. I raised my vibration, and in raising my vibration, it's like certain people can't handle that vibration anymore, and they just start to drift away. But new ones show up with the same vibration. When we stop focusing on the ones that have left, we start looking for the ones that are there, you start seeing them. And they are much more supportive of you, right? Maya says, I'm going to go look for my puff, my magic. It's in all of us. It's your direct connection to source energy. That magic has always been within you. You were born with it. If you didn't have it, you wouldn't be alive. It is the magic of life. And everything in nature has it in it. Everything you see has it in it. Even to the rock, to the bird, to the tree, to the flower, to your dog, has that spark of life within it. If you start looking deeper into even your pets and seeing that spark within them, you're going to recognize it in you. You see that in humans, you're going to recognize it in you. And you're going to bring it to life. There was a tribe in Africa, and I keep repeating this story, but there was a tribe in Africa that didn't say hello. They said, I see you. And the other one would respond, thank you, because when you see me, you bring me to life. Let's bring each other to life. It's time to bring each other to life. It's time to step out of the problems and into the solution. We need to burn away, because we are the great sun. We need to burn away the resistance and head down a new path, a path where we care about one another, where we see each other for who we really are and bring that to life. Source energy is within all of us. Source energy is in the sky. It's in everything. It's the great sun. So many things. And you are that source energy. You can't deny it because there was no hardware store around for source to build anything out of. So it had to build it out of itself. So everything is source energy. And to connect to it is a shift in perception. You've only been tricked into believing that you're not it. And that you're not worthy of it. And you know what I say to that? You are worthy of it. Step into it. Feel it. You are it. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. Look forward to speaking to you again and doing some more of those videos, those shorter videos out in nature. That's fun stuff too. And below here, you'll see book your time with me. Click here and save 10% if you enter the code MAGIC4U. And go ahead and utilize that and get your critics removed, work with your inner children, and come into your true power. And until next week, we'll see you again. Talk to you soon. Love and light.
Dwaine Hartman Live, Shoreline Conference Center, August 27th. Awaken the God within. Since ancient times, humanity has been suppressed. It's time for us to own our own power. You're more than a star. You're the power of the sun itself. It's time to burn through the resistance and step into a new world. Regain what you have lost. Tickets for this workshop at DwaineHartman.com.